Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarashi Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Namo Hanumate Bhayavanjanaya. Sukham Kuru Kuru Phat Swaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 7th of June 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Paramatma, Bhagwan residing in the heart of every single being at all times. We're continuing to examine the Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti, and there are actually two questions that someone has asked from our group regarding some related points here. So I want to cover those. If there are any comments or questions about the material being covered, please do put them in the WhatsApp chat. I will be able to address them to the best of my ability, on a daily basis. So we will be doing that. That's a good idea to do that, to put questions, to make comments, things like that. And if you want, you can also put audio recordings in the WhatsApp group, no problem. Lots of ways of going about this. So there's two questions here. One question was asked last week sometime about food, that when people are eating food, some people eat food as a comfort food. It makes them feel better, that when there's a feeling of emptiness inside, feeling of loneliness or emptiness, just eating this additional kinds of stimulative foods brings a certain level of comfort. Of course, yes, it does. That's true. It definitely does. And it does so for many reasons. It does so because it's a stimulation. It's a certain stimulation that takes one away from, it changes the way the experience of emotions work. But it's a temporary change. It's not a permanent shift into a non-disturbed state. So, what to do about this? Well, when that feeling of emptiness or loneliness or some kind of a deficiency shows up, again, not to expand that, just to kind of stay with it and let that feeling dissipate, because it will eventually dissipate. We tend to feel that when a feeling comes up, is as if it's going to just remain. It doesn't remain. It will change within just some time. By taking steps that are in the direction towards that goal of internal stability and harmony, I need to know for myself where is that range of great harmony and stability. And I have to keep resetting myself for that. This is why we have that Tuesday evening personal transformation program, to learn how to do this. It's a 7-year development process all the way up. But it goes one step at a time. But from our perspective here, in terms of the 9 forms of devotion, etc., the most important thing to do is to just dive back into bhakti again and again. Take the mala, that's why we have jap mala, and sit in front of the murti of Paramatma, and take the name, the holy name, Ram, Krishna, Shiva, Durga, etc. Take their names. And by doing that, it begins to change. The situation begins to change. Go out of the house. Go outside for a while. Maybe do, it's nice bhajan. That's also very good. Do some reading. Maybe watch some good quality YouTube video. Something. So it's a matter of changing the direction of our thinking. And if you do that at the right time, and just be patient, then it will eventually transform. It will eventually change the wave that is going on right now. So the wave of loneliness, boredom, these things, they do shift. But also be very careful not to oversaturate any experience. It doesn't matter what experiences it is. If you oversaturate it, you will dislike it. Even spiritual and religious activities are in that category. You can take, for example, a mantra. Like Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. That's very good. Do it. 1 mala, 2 malas, 3 malas. But somebody says, okay, by force I'm going to do 11 malas. Oh, you might be able to. But then at some point, if it's done too much by force, you'll dislike it. And if that disliking comes, it's a problem. Then you will not want to do that again for a long time. See, it's like this. If you have some food item that we enjoy and then you eat too much of it, you say, I don't want this anymore. I don't like this anymore. Even then somebody, no, you eat it, keep eating it. Oh, just get rid of it now. That's a wave or experience of dislike. So disliking any sensory experience, any activity in life can happen when it is oversaturated. So when we don't oversaturate, we keep it short and sweet. Short and sweet is, even for satsang, it should be like that. If you do too much of it, you're not ready for that, you will dislike it. Then you will not want to do any of it. Keep it short and sweet in the beginning. That's why we also do, half an hour mantras, half an hour exposition. And I tend to go over usually, but I'll try not to do that. Keep it short and sweet. Too much of anything is a problem. Now, eventually the range can increase. Take a mantra, just as an example, like Krishna mantra, Ram mantra. Somebody starts doing 1 mala, then they say, no, I want to do 2. If you want to increase it and it feels good and you are ready to do that, yes. Maybe a little bit you can push the limit a little bit, yes, that's fine. But watch out for creating dislike. It can happen even with anything. It doesn't matter. You could be binge watching something on Netflix and you say, oh, I'm sick of this now, So don't get to that point. Do some of it and then move out of it. Never get to a point of disliking the activity. This happens in relationships. The same thing happens in relationships. You may love someone, all that, but then eventually say, you're too much with me. You just do something on your own. Get away from me for a while. I love you, but get away from me. It happens, right? It happens like that. Now, this is one simple answer to this question about food and other things like this. That when we are in that space that is of not feeling very good, to just overstimulate, to fill that space is not an answer. You can have some food, but there's other things you can do. There's other things that can be done. Walking is good, exercising is good, listening to some bhajan is good, reading some material is good. Moving the body movements are very important. That's why there's so much emphasis on yogic exercises, breathing techniques and yoga postures and all those things. That yoga session, that free session that I put that inside the chat. So they have different timings for that actually. So you can do that also. A lot of ways of going about finding out how one can reach a state of personal balance and eventually self-mastery. I would strongly recommend attending the Tuesday evening workshops that are talking about all this in much, much more detail. Right, so that's one answer. Now there's another question here. That what happens like when there's rag, bhaya, krodh. We talked about this before. Vitaraga, bhaya, krodha, stitadhir mudiruchyate. That when these feelings come, how does it affect bhakti? Does bhakti go away? Yes, it does. It doesn't mean bhakti goes away, but it damages the flow of bhakti. When there's anger, krodh, lobh, bhakti experience doesn't remain as clearly as it should. It might not even be there at all. So it definitely can damage bhakti. So what do you do about that? Well, when that experience comes, just to recognize this experience is not the space I want to be in. This experience is happening, but that's just an occurrence in the antakarana. That's not me. The experience is not me. It will dissipate. So then again, deliberately, slowly reconnect with Paramatma. Bhagwan ke saath reconnection karna again and again and again. So these 9 forms of devotion are to be thought of that way. It is a reconnection. It is a connection again and again and again. And it's a connection internally. So the various forms of devotion can continue when there is mahima. Mahima means mahatmya. That means glory, extraordinary glory of that Paramatma. Then we will not forget Bhagwan. कि भगवान क्या है? वो अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड, उसमें you're coming from in and out. Infinite universes come in and out. Bhagavad Tattva is ultimately real. Everything else is just coming and going. So those kinds of things, that Mahima, Mahatmya, glory of God, once that comes, then the vritti remains naturally inside. We want to get to that point where it remains naturally there, and then we perform our duties. So when we are free from our duties, dive back into meditative bhakti. Naam ratan, scriptural reading, focus on the murti. Bhagwan ke so bhajan hai, bhajan kirtan karna, keep the murti in front. With Shraddha. None of this is going to happen without Shraddha. Remove from the mind of the idea that this is a stone in front of me or a painting or anything like that. That is just the material that is present in front of us. But it is the Bhagavad Tattva that we are interested in, not the material. Like, for example, if you have a $100 bill, you're looking at the potentiality of what that is, rather than just it's a piece of paper. Yes, is it a piece of paper? Yes. If you look at it just as a piece of paper, then that's all it will be. But if you know that you can buy $100 worth of groceries with it, if you know how to use it, then that has a lot of meaning behind it. Similarly, Bhagwan ki jo murti hai, the actual physical form, that the murtis that are painted and created, bring about inside the mind that intense bhavana that this is Paramatma. It's not this atheistic tendency that this is just a painting. Then that's atheism. Then that won't help anybody. So it's called astik bhav, not nastik bhav. Astik bhav, it's a bhavana that you are asking that Paramatma to come in front of you in this way. And that's where the mantras, stotras, shastras, you do all that. And you're asking the Lord to come in front of you. Does it work? Yes. There are thousands of incidences and examples where Bhagwan gives darshan, Bhagwan comes to the devotee in that way. Definitely. It's not, yes, in one sense it is avlambana. Avlambana means it is a type of support. That is a support for the mind. Yeah, is that true? Of course. Yes. That is not wrong. That is absolutely correct. But it's not just an avlambana. Avlambana means support. It's not just that. So sometimes people use the murti as a support to try to reach the Atma Tattva. Let's assume for a moment someone has reached the Atma Tattva. Then they said, no, I don't need this murti anymore. Don't need anything anymore. I have already realized the Brahman. Aisa bhi hota hai. But that's, again, my humble recommendation is not to do that way. Even if you have realized the Atma Tattva, keep the upasana continuously going. Bhagwan ki upasana nirantar honi chahiye. Don't stop upasana. Because you don't know where the mind will go anyway. And even if you realize the Atman, so what? Bhagwan is much, much beyond that. So the question here was about the rag, dvesh, bhay, krodh. When these things do come about, again, carefully, slowly, reconnect with Paramatma internally. Bhagwan ki aarti karni, then ashtak karne. Just different mantras are there. Like, for example, Hanumanji ki bhakti. There's Hanuman Chalisa, there's Hanuman Ashtak, there's so many things are there. Sundarkand is there. But it's not about doing everything at one time. Some people get excited in bhakti. Let me just, eat a lot of it at one time. It's like if you have really hungry, what happens when we're really hungry and you have this lot of food in front of you, you feel like eating anything and everything. That's okay, hunger is there. But you cannot just stuff your mouth with anything and everything. You get a big stomach ache and not enjoy anything also. So that's the other side of it. Some people get very excited in bhakti. I just want to do this only. I just want to do only that. But okay, fine. That feeling comes as a good feeling. But keep it within a limit. Keep the quality good and then shift in one of the forms of devotion. Karma yog karna. Even if you're making some cooking or doing some project or something, do it. Offer it as a service to Paramatma. That's fine. You could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, you could be an engineer, you could be a professor, anything. Whatever you're doing, at the beginning say, I'm doing it for you. I'm not doing it for my egotistical development. See, that is the secret of Karma Yoga. It's very simple to understand. Simple in what sense? You just say, I'm doing it for you. And then at the end of the Kriya, again, sit for a second and say, Om Krishnaya Namaha. Offer everything to Paramatma. It's very simple. Just 2 times the name has to be taken. Before the action begins, at the end of the action. Like, for example, Sachin here is talking right now. Every day, some exposition is given to share with the whole world. Okay. So with the beginning, we do all these mantras. So everything is offered at the feet of Paramatma. At the end, we do the Shama Prarthana, or we do the closing mantras. Everything is offered. We don't carry any load inside. That I am doing something in that. There's no I doing anything in that. Then one will be stuck. And this is where this rag, dvesh, bhay, krodh, all this thing comes from. It comes from the ahankar. It comes from there that I am the one who is doing this, and I am the one who is doing it, I and mine. Every time it comes. Then that's where the worries and tensions and fears come. Do the duty. In fact, let's put it this way. If we cannot find rest in action, one will never find it. I read that somewhere. Someone said this to me. I think it's a commentator on the Gita. Her name is Jaya Rao, R-A-W, something like that. Jaya Rao, I think R-O-W. She's a lot of good pravachans are there online. And I think she said something like this. That if you cannot find rest in action, you will never find it. And what a beautiful idea that is. That in activity, we need to be active throughout. But find rest in activity, not inactivity. You see the difference? I can be inactive, just say, okay, I'm resting. That's not rest. You may need to be restful to some extent, but when we're performing day-to-day activity, isme aram, काम में आराम और ऐसे मिलेगे Ram. You see? काम में आराम. काम doesn't mean काम वास्ता. काम means activity. Action. Physical, mental. Be active. Being active is good. Going for long walks, going in nature. Being active is very good. And in that activity, there is aram. There is rest. In the activity. And when we find rest while performing the activity, that is where we can also take the name of Ram. And that is where Ram exists there. You see, so you can see the 3 points, how they connect together. There's activity, there's rest in the activity. Now, what does that mean? Rest in activity simply means that one is not disturbed from inside. And that non-disturbed state, we can decide, I want to be in a non-disturbed state. It's just simple as that. If I set my mind to say, I'm not going to disturb my mind at all, whatever may be going on. Bhay, krodh, vitarag, bhaya, krodha. Vitarag, bhay, and krodh. These 3 things. Tell yourself with a mala, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, that this is not me. If these feelings come up, that has nothing to do with me. I am not those feelings. Those things that come up, we have a tendency to get lost in them. I'm not going to be lost. And if that comes up, that's nothing to do with me. Who am I? Shivoham, Shivoham, Anandoham. I am Ananda, me Anando, Satchidananda Brahma, Divya me. Not this. So you go back into that re-identification. There's de-identification with bhai, krodh, lobh, all that. And re-identification with Ananda. And then continue activity in action. And in doing so, sporadically take the name of the Lord. With bhav, with mahima. Bhagwan ka naam lena, with mahima. So it's a formula. What's the formula here? Action plus steadiness, or this what is that? Rest. Action plus rest plus the holy name equals what? Equals freedom. One is free from inside. That's a formula. It's action plus rest plus name. Name meaning Bhagvat Naam. Teeny baat hai. Very simple. This is our sadhana for today. Very simple sadhana. Don't make these spiritual things very complex. I know I have a tendency to, I just want to express things in a sometimes more academic way and all that. That's fine. There's some purpose behind that. But the sadhanas are not complicated. Sadhana is very simple actually. Isme complicated kya hai? If you're going to the mandir and you do a pradikshina, so start doing 11 pradikshina, ek niyam banana. तो मैं जब मंदिर में जाता हूँ, I want to do 21 pradikshina of the murti that is there. It could be Bhagwan, Shankar ki murti ho. I mean, actually, with the pradikshina is to be done of the different incarnations of God. There's some reason, I have to look it up exactly, why the pradikshina of the Shivling is not recommended. The Shivling ki pradikshina nahi karni. You can only do half and then come back around. There's some reason behind that. I have to do some research on that one. I'll ask some pandits about it. I'll do some online research also to find out about. That's the only exception that I know about pradikshina. Ki Shivling ki full pradikshina nahi hoti. It is like you can go halfway to the back side and then come back again. So again, or you can go to the back side and then go on the side the other way, but full pradikshina. Ganesh ji ki hoti hai, Devi ki hoti hai, everybody, all the other deities. Only Shivling ki full pradikshina nahi karte. Again, what is the reason behind that? I'm not 100% sure. I will look that up and find out for you. So these are our basic sadhanas. Very, very beautiful, right? So do this very simple formula. Very simple. It's extremely simple. Action plus rest, meaning our internal mind is resting, and that to find that rest, Bhagwan ka naam, Bhagwan ka mahima, combine it together equals freedom. That is mukti. That is a day-to-day, hour-to-hour mukti. Main mukta hu. Finish. And then go 1 hour at a time. That's it. In the next hour, I'm free. I'm going to be free in the next hour. No bhay, krodh, lobh, kaam, kuch nahi. In the next 1 hour. Go 1 hour at a time. And that's how you build the beautiful past. We've talked about this in Angel Wing programs extensively, these concepts. That's why those Angel Wing programs are a foundation for what we're talking about here. So that's why I'm not going to repeat all that stuff, because that's been recorded in those foundations. And then what's talked about here is a foundation for all higher levels of Vedanta also. So it's like a bridge, it's a link, so that's how it all connects together, but it's at different stages. Right, so please do ask questions, make comments. This is very beautiful. Let's close up for now. I'm going to try to stick to close to time as much as possible. Om Dhyanamulam Gururmurti Mantramulam Gururvakyam Pujamulam Gururpadam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa Tameva Mata Chapida Tameva Bandusha Saka Tameva Vidya Dravinam Tameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Om Glom Hum Klim Jumsaha Jwale Jwala Prajwala Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche Jwalaham Samdamksham Phat Swaha Om Durga Rakshini Tha Swaha Om Divalingaya Nama Urdhvalingaya Nama Anandalingaya Nama Dvadash Jyotirlingaya Nama Nama Om Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha Shri Radha Krishnar Panamastu Om Hrim Swaha